Thank you, Lilith. Goodness gracious. Hail the goddess Lilith. Yes. Hello. Good afternoon, y'all. It's High Priestess Jamila. And I wanted to come and speak to y'all about curses and what you have to think about when you are deciding to do them or to get them. Because after all, even though a lot of you will come to me and say, Jamila, I've been crossed. I need you to remove something from me. And, I don't really want to hurt that person. I just want to send it back to them. Spirit always knows exactly what you want. And so a great deal of the time I have to be clearing up stuff from y'all's intent, which is why I started checking that like 3 years ago. Because sometimes if y'all want to do a curse reversal, sometimes y'all will have an intent on killing that person because that person may have caused a lot of issues in your life. Whether or not they did it the, traditional witchcraft way, which is by actually being able to put a hex on somebody with magic and not by doing things like calling your phone, harassing you, a lot of times those are going to be your biggest enemies. The ones that you got to look out for is the ones that ain't chasing you around social media or making themselves be too known. Okay, your enemy is hiding. Okay, but spirit always brings them to the forefront anyway. Okay, so how does it usually hit them though? Like, a lot of times people that have crossed you, especially people that you've done nothing to, like you literally, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve what they're doing, what they're saying. You know, you just don't deserve to be treated that way. Okay. And half of y'all don't deserve to get half of the stuff that y'all get, because you got people, you can just say howdy doody to them and they're wishing death on you. So you got some real scary birds out here, you know, they just real scary all the time. You know what I'm saying? And but your enemies, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it hits them. A lot of people think that it hits them very fast. No, no, not really. Okay, it depends on what they're doing. And if you and they will continue to hang themselves on the rope. Trust me, they will continue to hang themselves on a rope. Okay, a lot of the time. So you're just kind of like stringing them along, especially them kind of enemies that want to be you, want to take your identity. You know, I've been hearing people talk about that a lot, but I don't call names on this channel because I don't want nobody looking at me crazy because they don't like somebody, or, you know, I just like the knowledge and the wisdom and the gifts that they have. So I ain't trying to get into no beef with none of y'all in the spiritual community, because I ain't trying to have y'all, you know, come for me. I just don't feel like dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, you know, no new friends and no new enemies. Just no, 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 no. And so, how does the curses hit them when it finally hits them, when they know that they out of pocket, when they know that they doing things that they shouldn't do? Usually hits them, I'd say, within 3 months. Now, obviously, the negative energy that they're sending to you, we're going to uncross you, but your enemy's going to take a little while longer to get that back. Okay. And it's usually, okay, usually it depends on how dirty they were before. If your enemy's hands and feet was dirty as hell, you know, you can count on it hitting them faster. Okay. And these can either be spiritual enemies or enemies just in everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Just the regular spiritual enemies that a lot of us witches have, right? Because y'all know I'm an authentic witch. And usually takes a while, but it's usually something extremely devastating to the person. So that's why you got to think twice. Now, if you're doing a reversal and you come and say, hey, listen, my dog died, you know, my child died, I had a miscarriage, somebody beat me up, I got raped, I got robbed. If you had an enemy that bought that on you, especially if it was a spiritual enemy, now obviously the person that robbed, raped you, you know, killed you, did something, they gonna get something real quick, okay? But sometimes it'll be a practitioner behind those unfortunate accidents that happen. And depending on how spirit sees it, because the way that I see it is that if a person just threatens something, that doesn't mean that it actually happened. But if something does happen, oh man, and 9 times out of 10, the reason why that unfortunate thing happened to you is probably because of a hex. 9 times out of 10, you know, God just don't work that way. Okay. If it were not for people doing some of the disgusting things that they do, you know, it's usually pretty devastating when it does hit them. As far as when and how, the main thing that I have had reported back to me is the heaviness in their chest area. you know, because Ma'at is weighing them, and then Kali Ma is standing on their chest, literally. So it make them feel like they can't breathe, give them anxiety. Okay, not to say that anxiety sufferers have done something to deserve it, but it will give them really bad anxiety. Hospital visits, um, just feeling drained, you know. So and typically they will get back the karma that they brought forth to you. So whatever that negative karma is, you know, like for example, if some crazy witch throws something at you and your child gets sick, and you've confirmed that it came from that, then either them or their child may get sick. Okay, and it's called balancing things out. What spirit hopes that will happen after many, many warnings, because spirit will warn you. If you have a hex on you, spirit is going to tell you. Spirit is going to tell you, okay? And, you know, depending on what you're dealing with, depends on what the situation is. So if you've crossed somebody and they hexed you or they sent it back, sometimes depending on if you started it, we can't send it back if you started it. If you planted the seed and you started it, now if you said like howdy doody to a person and they pulled a gun out on you and tried to shoot you down, then obviously that would, you know, but it's always about who started the spiritual warfare. That's who spirits is going to look at. And so whenever you're a practitioner, it's up to you to find these things out during the consultation, because you need to know what you're dealing with. You may be dealing with a person that has done something horrible to a person unprovoked, and they got some of that stuff back and they didn't want to face up to it. Okay, so I know during your consultations, okay, playing victim does not work with me. I'm always know, because I know exactly what to ask my spirits. And if I find out that you started it, then you're more than likely we'll just recommend a cleanse for you. If you started that beef, I'm not gonna, I can uncross you. It'll cost more than a cleanse, but I can't send it back to the person because you shouldn't have started that. Because you never know it. That's why you got to be careful out here and make sure that you understand the law of attraction. The seeds that you plant in somebody else's garden will one day become weeds in your own. And that is the exact truth, okay, about that situation. That's why it's good to be fair. When you think about spiritual work that we do, it's all based upon balance and fairness. And, you know, when you're doing things the right way. Oh, nothing. I'm just discussing what can happen with enemies with once they really get that clap down. Nothing happened at all. Just talking about curses. That's all. Felt it would be appropriate. You know, I am advertising a service over here, Lavender Flower. You know, so a lot of people need to know this stuff. This stuff is really important. And you know, I feel bad for people that can't just be on the straight and arrow, because eventually that stuff is going to catch up with them eventually. And we all know it is. You can even recognize it. And the worst thing that you can do is actually react to it, but just see somebody about it. Because the practitioner has to know how to channel that anger or that energy. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a long-term enemy that just won't stop, they in 2021, I'm telling you, these people have such a horrible fate in front of them. It's ridiculous, and they know it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know. I've seen people do some pretty despicable things to people using magic. I don't like it. I produce a lot of good things with my magic, actually, but there's a lot of people that like to do horrible things with their magic, and it just ain't right. Um, you know, magic does not always, well, it never gives you the right to trespass upon others. But then again, it also doesn't give you the right to play around with it. I believe that a lot of people that are just out here throwing dirty magic, I believe that they are going to lose their ability to do any magic. I really believe that, and Spirit has been warning that for the past 2 years. Yes, hello, hello, another beautiful day together. Yes, how you doing? So yeah, it is what it is. You know, a lot of people will. Now, I will tell you that your enemies are not just going to automatically get karma. They're not, and your body will tell you who the enemy is. Okay, and many of y'all have more than one, and you know they'll come out of the woodworks. You know, and it is what it is. You know, you take care of them. I know that my policy has been doom candles, skull candles. You know, we gonna hit you where it hurts, because you know, for you to even bring that kind of energy to somebody else's life when you could have been doing something more constructive. And see, that's the reason why spirits, you know, you'll see these people trying to do protection, and they'll have these huge protection things, and you can have protection that's very, very tiny. I can do protection for 100 people with this one little globe that I have. Mm-hmm. Sure enough. Probably because we ain't got dirty feet and dirty hands and dirty asses over here, though. Okay. You know, just saying. But that's just it. And you know, when it does hit them, and I'm talking about fucking tower moment. I'm talking about tower moment. And then not only that, time will fly for them. They'll be like, oh my God. Yeah. Lights turned off, gas turned off, water turned off, just all kind of crazy stuff happening. You know, walk outside their house, get attacked by a dog or something. I mean, all kinds of stuff. You never know what spirit. You know what I noticed about spirit? Hold on, y'all. What I notice about spirit is that spirit will actually slowly torment a person, and especially if they deserve it. I'm not talking about a little argument and a couple of laughs. You know, when people be giggling, nah, don't nobody be giggling. Ain't nobody laughing, ain't nobody giggling, ain't nobody smiling. If they are, they faking it. Okay, I'm talking about your ass. You huddled in a damn corner. Them spirits is all over you, around your head. You know, hey, Indigo Moon. Hey, peace to you too, goddess. Uh, uh, their family members, their friends, the people closest to them, they know exactly what they're going through. They will put up a brave front while huddled in the corner, rocking back and forth. And that, I mean, that's the truth about the situation. Hating their life, want to kill themselves, thinking about committing suicide. Spirits will really drag a person if they, especially if they wrong. especially if they wrong as sin. Oh my goodness gracious. Curses are good. Curses are great. They teach a person a lesson. You know, I've had all kinds of fake faux crap happen. Did nothing happen. You know, nothing. And your enemies, when you get a hold of some real magic, your enemies better hope and pray don't nothing happen to you. That's real talk, man. I swear to God, they better hope and pray, because if you didn't deserve that and they did something to you, oh my God, the spirit will clap down on their asses. Your ancestors will do it. Hell, right now, some shit popping off right now. It's some shit we got about, what, 12 people in the circle? It's some shit popping off right now. Right, I'm serious. You know, hey, odds are, hello. And they better be careful. You know, and I ain't talking about no fake stuff. Somebody call you a poopy face or talk crazy to you. No, I'm talking about you got real fucking problems manifesting within your body, within your mind, you know, and that's why it's good for parents to teach their children to treat others as they would want to be treated themselves. See what I'm saying? Oh yeah, lavender flower, and you know what? Hey, let me tell you something. You've been in the group, you've been in the circle for probably about a week. So yeah, when did you see that reading? When was it from? What time frame was it? Because I can tell you that, oh, the ancestors is kicking up some shit right now. Y'all would not believe the vapors that are coming off of this work that I'm doing. Like, you can just see white smoke coming up. It's a trip. That I'm telling you. And yeah, a couple of spirits is, you know, a lot of y'all spirits are dealing with your enemies right now. And it's a war going on right now. I can tell you that right now. And if anybody done trespass upon you, and they probably was doing it today. See, instead of your enemies trying to manifest something positive for themselves, they're spending the spring equinox obsessed over you. Okay, and believe it or not, these fork-tongued degenerate liars they can throw stuff at you. One thing I got to tell you is that don't you ever, ever, ever doubt what a person can do, but don't you ever, ever, ever think that the person can hurt you. Okay, now that's if you're on the innocent end of the spectrum. Okay, honestly. Yeah, you being gang stalk Indigo Moon. Let's see, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. That's so uncool, and it's unsexy too. The gang stalkers, boy. That's why right now we're doing the womb protection, because that's what they're trying to get, and we're doing heart protection too. Yeah, man, they getting messed up right now. And you know what they'll try to do? You can tell that your enemies are getting messed up right now because they'll try stuff. But you got your invincibility protection up, I hope. If you're being gang stalked, you need invincibility. You need an invincibility cloak. Okay? That's what you're going to need for that. And, you know, I was really, I'm very, very, very happy with, if you also notice, if you're in the circle, that you feel it's a lot of clarity that's with it too. Like, just a lot of clarity. You know what I'm saying? And and stuff is being taken care of quick. Okay. Yes, because when y'all in my circle, that means that we have enemies in common. I'm not even going to show the work that I'm doing downstairs. That's not for public consumption, and we really won't be showing that. Okay, that work that we doing downstairs. And so, it's like, damn. And if you have long-term gang stalkers, lavender flower, oh my God, they better hope and pray. They bet that stuff that is psychological warfare is what that is. And mhm. My cleanses are the antidote for gang stalks. So if you're being gang stalked, contact me for a cleanse. But here's what I want to tell you. Somebody always thinks that you done did something to them. People can be, and so that's why the practitioner has to determine what is the best course of action. Okay, it wouldn't be good for you, if you may have done something. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The way that the good Lord sees it is that if your enemies is attacking you for more than a day, they're attacking you for far too long. Now, that's how my Lord, that's what my Lord tells me. Don't nobody got to suffer 29,000 years because of a mistake that they made. So y'all better, and it depends on what that mistake is, because there are no mistakes. There's just fate. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like hey, listen, I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into this here. And so I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, and they're foolish. They're stupid. They're stupid. But every look, what goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. Okay, remember that. So and because you be like, I noticed. I ain't even gonna go there. I won't even talk about that. I'm only gonna talk about that to spirit. But y'all can come talk to me about that because y'all know everything is 100% confidential over here. Even if you piss me off, it's confidential. Okay, unless you get to threatening me, showing up at my house and stuff like that, I've been gonna put you on candy camera. But that's never happened. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have that kind of relationship with my clients or my spirits. They're very overprotective of me. So yep, exactly. As within, so without. Exactly. Yep. So, I mean, it does eventually hit them, like to the point where you be thinking, damn, this curse ain't working on that person. You got to be patient because it may not be time for that to happen. And I do see people getting sick. People that are doing any people that are doing gang stalking and stuff like that, like those people, they're yeah, they're it's not looking good for them. It's not. But how do you tell somebody that won't accept the truth? You can't. It's not your job. It's their ancestors' job. It was their mama's job. It was you know what I'm saying? It was their guardian angel's job. You know what I'm saying? And so what are you going to do? Just sit up there and be harassed, or have somebody continuously try to do this weak spiritual work on you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. So it does get them. It gets them. And a lot of y'all like, I am such a nice person. This is not fair. A lot of y'all will live long, healthy lives, and they will go down. They will. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm talking about in real life. I'm talking about I'm talking about, goddamn it, in real life. So, and maybe they should be attempting to do that. Okay, I look. Spiritual stories, man, they're everywhere. You can find them on the internet. Spiritual stories about karma and redemption, and There, for example, there was this story I read about a woman. Her husband all of a sudden started beating on her, being really violent and abusive, and it was obvious that it was an overnight personality change, just overnight. So it was obvious that he was hexed. Now a lot of people wouldn't agree with her sticking by him, but she did. Come to find out, there was a witch that had been doing work on her to make that happen, and she was actually trying to get him to kill her and beat her up, and and so yeah, and you know what happened? That witch ended up committing suicide. Whenever you see somebody commit suicide, it's usually because of guilt, because of something they have done to somebody. Gang stalkers don't understand that people are not going to commit suicide from gang stalking. Trust me. If you are doing harm to another person and that shit hits you, and that's one of the things that it hits them with is suicide. That's one of the things that usually hits you with. Or not you, but your enemies. Because, I mean, let's face it, depending on what they doing, hell, what do they really have to live for anyway? Like, depending on what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that they up to. And then also depending on what kind of magic they're doing, what entities or spirits that they're working with. If they're working with parasitic energies, reptilian energies that may be negative, because all reptilians are not bad, because I've actually spoke to a few. Shapeshifters, all of them ain't bad people. So just depends on what type of person you're dealing with, what type of entity, what type of spiritual power you're dealing with. And so the one thing that I've noticed is that unless you're an empath, because I do speak to a lot of empaths don't want to hurt nobody. Like, they're just sweet, kind, loving people. They will damn near sacrifice themselves. But y'all got to remember that Jesus Christ already made that sacrifice. So if there's a jinn or something that's telling you to sacrifice yourself, that may be an evil spirit, you need to consult with a practitioner that can read the situation. Yeah. Well, you know what, Indigo Moon? Here's the thing. They can't take it. They can't ever take your light. They can only trick you and others into believing that they took something from you. But otherwise, they can't do that. The problem is that if you do have someone trying to take your energy, it just feels uncomfortable. Learning how to ground yourself, learning when that is happening to you is very important, because then you'll know what to do and then even who to go to. Because what I found is that Lilith is extremely helpful in those situations. And a lot of people said, oh, Lilith is a demon and she's a succubus. And duh, that's just like a vampire would be able to help you with a vampire. So, it's, and then also you got to understand that when you think about Lilith, she represents de-evolution and evolution at the same time. Lilith does. Okay. So, I think that many of us have evolved from certain species of people, like mermaids, vampires, and then maybe even some animals. Okay. So, yeah. So that's what I want to tell y'all. So just be patient and enjoy life. Once you've cursed them, once you have sent that stuff back, it is done. There's no moving the goalposts. It's done. Okay? Because they'll try to move the goalposts. Spirit don't work that way. Okay? Because once you've been marked, that's it. And y'all got to understand, that's why it's important to mind your manners and watch what you're doing. That's why it was so important for that That's why in my previous life, I was cursed the whole life. I died early because, I grew up in a witchy family and all we did was sit around and curse innocent people. And, I just wasn't in a position and I didn't really have the knowledge or the know-how or even the strength or the grace to even free myself of that at that time. So, yeah. Hmm. Okay, and you don't come back and try to do curses over and over again. Who does that? Come on now. If it didn't work the first time, it ain't gonna never work. If you're gonna curse somebody, you get one damn curse. If the practitioner is saying, "Oh, we got to curse this person over and over again," they're full of shit. They don't know what they're doing. Okay. Now, I have seen people having to do more reversals, but people typically, it's not even about reversals. It depends on what it is that you're reversing. Okay, it depends on that. But I'm talking about when you curse somebody, when you say, "Oh, this motherfucker right here need to be cursed. Right here. This person right here, they gotta be cursed." And it just, they probably already know they're gonna get cursed. You know what I'm saying? They probably already know that. They feel cursed, they know they curse, they don't care, but they will care. A lot of people will try and make it seem like, "Oh, I'm already miserable and I'm already cursed." No, you ain't cursed yet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. They will get what is coming to them. Okay, especially when you're dealing with a situation that's long term. Okay. Now I don't curse people. I quit doing that for the public. But what I do for you is I reverse a curse that's on you. Okay, that's what I do. Now, if we can confirm and verify and that this person has been doing horrific things and they just keep doing it, then yeah, that person can absolutely be cursed. But just to go around cursing people, that's not the business. It's really not. Yeah, movie The Jones with David Duchovny. Okay, sometimes that's what keeps me motivated, knowing that what I've been through will not go in vain. Exactly, exactly. And you know what? It's sad, but it's the truth. Even on this beautiful day, there's people out there that's just up to no good. Just even on this beautiful, and this is the seeds that they're planting in their own lives at this point. This is how they chose to go through this beautiful transition to spring. So that means that it don't even matter if they cleaned out their closet. You're not supposed to spend these days. You're not supposed to do that during the Sabbaths unless you have to. You don't just do that for fun during the Sabbaths. I'm telling you, they're gonna curse themselves. Okay, they already hurting. Mm-hmm. Waiting. I couldn't even go live this morning. They was just all buzzing in the chat room, just blip, 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 and that's just on YouTube. So imagine the real life stuff and why they don't have enough discernment to make a change in their life. Why? It ain't your problem. Who the fuck cares? Why should you care? Sitting around pondering them for too long, it's okay to talk about them for, a few minutes, but you know what I'm saying? Like, live life, have fun. That's how you can tell the enemy got you when you're obsessing over it too much. So, y'all be careful with that too, okay? Because that's what witches do. We handle business and then we go and we have dinner and we watch movies and we meditate and we do yoga. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, child. You know how you know when you get to the point where spirit just tells you just pray for your enemies. That's when you know that they're exactly, exactly, and that just wow. Um, Lost people. Anyway, if y'all in the circle, you guys are having a great day. Very peaceful. How are you feeling, Lavender? You feeling pretty good? I know I've been feeling pretty good this morning. So, for more about curses, or if you want to know more about, how cursing your enemies can help you, um, all of my links are in the video description box. And you know what? I swear I've been having a lot of energy today too. I've gotten so much done today. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what's up. Well, that's where it's going to be. And, our enemies are probably laid up in bed, probably can't even get out of the bed. And if they would just come and say, please help me, they would possibly get the help that they need. But the previous curse that they had on them from where they probably did something to somebody else is still on them. So they kind of, and a lot of times, just like in Drag Me to Hell, they're literally like Christine Brown looking for somebody to pass that on to, you know? So, yes, make sure that you don't have to leave a review yet. So, but, we've got a pretty good circle. And I can sense that you guys' ancestors are very strong. I have my own ancestors. I don't need to draw energy from you guys' ancestors. So if you guys are wondering about that with group rituals, that I don't like just like Lavender Flower says, I have a lot of energy. I want y'all to take note of that, because some people will say, oh, she's taking people's energy. Well, I wonder why this client is saying that she has a lot of energy. So that would pretty much mean that no, definitely not taking nobody's energy. In fact, we're giving energy. So yeah. So anyway. All right, guys. I will see y'all later. Peace and love to all of y'all. And just hang in there, man. Hang in there. For real. Because eventually you ain't even gonna have to think about none of all this spiritual warfare. And man, yeah, these people be starting spiritual warfare based upon their own inner conflict is what they do. They have any problems in their life, they come and they start a war with you. And I think it's ridiculous. Instead of just handling their business, this is the kind of crap that they do. So, anyway, I gotta go, y'all. Love and light to all of y'all. Bye-bye.